What is good, Josh on this Football Game Man? Back with yet another reaction video, baby. Today, we're back with more sports reaction content. I guess we can say right here, Week 14 Power Rankings. We're going to go ahead and react to it, man. See what we think of this upcoming week. As we're getting into the playoff push, so please, down below, if you guys want to see me actually react to highlights of games, talk about sports, and just generally, we could just do a talking video. I could just talk about the season and give my thoughts and opinions on stuff, give predictions, and things like that. If you guys want to see that content, let me know down below in the comment section. We'll jump into it. And of course, I'll dive into it. I got a lot to say when it comes to football, bro. Like I know the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the game a fair amount. So if y'all want to hear my opinions and thoughts on it, please let me know down below. If you guys want to see me rebuild teams on Madden, because I am one of the best coaches out there. Head over to the Game Channel Smooth Guy game on rebuilding a different team like every year. This year, we're working on the New England Patriots. So the series is on and popping over there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Head over to go and check that out. But before you leave this channel, you got to like, comment, and subscribe to get out. You're already stuck in the video. You can't leave until you at least subscribe. Like, that's just one of the rules and regs of YouTube. This channel, I don't make the rules. You just got to do it, man. So let me know down below, man, how good your team did this week. Did you guys catch a dub or an L? And let's go ahead and see what they talk about for these power rankings, man. I already got it teed up here for us. So we're going to jump into it really quick here before we go and get into them talking, of course. We've got them right now keeping the 1 through 4 basically the same. We got Detroit, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Kansas City. Moving up one spot will be Minnesota, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh, while the Baltimore Ravens drop 3 spots down to 8. Do I agree with this? As of right now, yeah. Honestly, I would probably flip the Eagles and Bills. If I'm being completely honest with you, the Eagles are looking dominant right now. And I mean, they beat Baltimore by a pretty good margin. Saquon is having a historic season, on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record. So I mean, the way they run this ball, the way that they play, if you were to put Buffalo and Philadelphia in a neutral field game today, Philadelphia, in my eyes, is coming with the win. Now, Detroit's above the rest, though. I do agree with Detroit being number 1, but I would have Detroit, Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City. Honestly, right now, I think you got to give more love to the Steelers. I mean, they're winning a lot of close and low games, but I think you got to give a little bit more love to the Steelers. So I'd have Steelers 5, Vikings, Packers, and then Ravens at 8. That would be my top 8 right now with this current standings. And that's how I do my list too. I don't give like a full power rankings. If you guys want me to do one, I'll sit down and make one and then, reveal it here, because I might have somebody like 9 or 10 up at the 8th spot. But right now we're just kind of looking at these 8, and that's how I'd organize it. So Detroit, Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Green Bay, Baltimore. Let me know y'all down below.
Time for the team of the week, presented by Truist. Instead of one singular team, I'm going to ask you about the group of the top 4, Eric. These are really talented teams. And yet, as I was watching some of these games unfold, I started to hedge over the weekend and say, is this the right order?
Oh, that's a good question. Which of the 4 top teams is best poised to win the Super Bowl? Detroit. My opinion is Detroit right now. They're a high-scoring offense that can keep pace with the other 3. They have a great defense that can slow the other 3 down. I mean, Kansas City is barely winning games as it is, or one-score games against low-tier teams. I think Detroit can handle that. The Eagles, can they slow them down? I think enough, and they can outscore them if it turns into a shootout. And then Buffalo, I mean, they always choke in the postseason, but just on the standpoint of being able to outscore them, I do think Detroit does that. So for me, it's Detroit.
Yeah, it may not reflect how I have them right now. I mean, I always say it's what the team is at this very moment, right? And a week can obviously have a big effect on the rankings. Didn't this week, but yeah, if you just take those top 4, I can obviously make a case for the Kansas City Chiefs. We know their recent track record. They're going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl. I can clearly make a case for the Lions. They've been the best team, arguably, weeks 1 through now in the NFL this season. Certainly could make a case for the Bills the way they're playing, killing the Niners. But I'm going to go with the Eagles just because I think that win over the Ravens did kind of tell us a lot about them as a team. They played phenomenal ball since the bye. They march into Baltimore, come out with a win after falling behind by 2 scores. It really was a statement victory in a lot of ways, up by 2 scores late before the cosmetic.
But the thing I will say, that's Baltimore, who has blown leads all season, blew it to the Raiders. Are they going to blow a 2-score lead to Detroit? I don't think so. Or wait, I think I phrased that completely wrong. Are they going to be able to overcome a 2-score deficit from Detroit? I don't think so.
Is our perception of Sam Darnold the reason why this team does not get more love nationally?
Probably.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely something to that. The Darnold factor, right? You look at the teams above them on the list, they have more established quarterbacks or more established systems, perhaps. And, there has been a little bit of volatility for a 10-2 team. They've had some ups and downs. They've blown some big leads. They've had to fight off some lesser teams. But you're right. I mean, a couple of years ago, they won a lot of football games, and I think everything was undone because they lost that wild card game to the Giants. But, we shouldn't forget the fact that they were a competitive team with all the quarterback injuries last year. And Darnold has been pretty darn steady, all things considered. Has he been amazing? I don't know. But really from overtime against Chicago, I think until now, he's played some pretty good ball and has the Lions in a great spot the Vikings in a great spot heading into that big game against the Lions on Thursday.
I think everyone makes a big deal about the quarterback, and rightfully so. You'd want one of the more talented guys than not have one of the most talented guys. Say what you want about Sam Darnold, who once again is just delivering this season. Joe Burrow is top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and he's
losing.
Having, at least numbers-wise, an MVP-type season. Doesn't matter. They can't win some football games. It's a really good football team. Emphasis on the team part for me.
We ain't even on Cincinnati yet.
The Steelers checking in at number 7. I got to tell you, if the offense looks like it did this last time out, they are one of the scariest teams in the AFC. I just don't know how reliable that is, considering some of the hiccups leading into this past game that they had offensively.
Yeah, I think you should start the game tape immediately after the pick 6, which really wasn't Russell Wilson's fault. It may not have been Pickett's fault. There may have been a call there that went uncalled, but absolutely, did Wilson look good on Sunday? I mean, this is the Bengals. They've had a lot of bad defensive performances. You can't overlook that, but the long ball was there. The few opportunities he had, he took them and he hit them. The short and intermediate stuff, he was just carving up those Cincinnati zones all day long. And when it took time to, move around a little bit and find guys like Freiermuth down the middle, he did. I mean, Russell Wilson has taken this job and run with it. I know the play has been a little bit up and down leading into this game, but I don't think there are very many questions about whether Mike Tomlin made the right decision. And they could still bring in Justin Fields for a game-sealing scramble there at the end. And he's got his role. Wilson's got a bigger one right now. Yeah, 8 missed field goals, 2 missed extra points on the season, cost them in the Steelers game, cost them on Sunday as well. And, look, it was
even kickers got to retire soon.
They could have made it a 10-0 score, misses that one.
That's tough.
Missed 2 other kicks throughout the course of the game, had a chance to take the lead both times, couldn't do it. It really was frustrating. And look, this is a player who's obviously had, built a reputation as one of the greatest kickers of all time, arguably the GOAT. As far as kickers go, but this season has not gone according to plan. Now, most of the misses have been longer ones, right? They've been 50 and above, but we've seen the last 3 games, he's missed some sub 50-yard kicks. And boy, this is a Ravens team that hasn't been as proficient in the red zone every single week. So, this is the kind of opportunities that they have to cash in on if they want to be a
I didn't mean to do that, but I didn't mean to cut him off, misses, but it's so sad to see, too. He's right. I mean, this is one of the greatest kicker, if not the greatest kicker of all time to ever basically play football, and to see, you just hate to see it when you see guys that had great careers play just a little too long, and then their last season kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. You're seeing it with Aaron Rodgers, I think, with the Jets, a great quarterback, but this has not looked good this year. Justin Tucker, obviously, this year. I was worried about it for Tom Brady when he came out of retirement. Of course, he proved everybody wrong there with that one. And seeing guys really play like a little bit past their prime or a little bit past that time it's time to retire. I'm hoping to not see it for other great athletes like LeBron, Matthew Stafford, older quarterback here in the league. Derrick Henry, would hate to see him have a bad season. I was trying to think of some like other, CP3, Russell Westbrook, just some of those guys in like even other sports that you don't want to see them just play that 1 year too long and kind of just like, that's it. That's how you going out. Getting into quadrant 2 here. Looks like everybody's pretty much staying the same here. Chargers, Broncos, Commanders, Texans, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and the Rams jump up 3 spots by beating us, of course. That's a lot of teams in the NFC West right there. I would probably put the Commanders over Broncos. I feel like they could still beat them. Texans, I'm okay with them being underneath the Broncos. I would probably put all 3 of those NFC West teams above the Buccaneers, though. If I'm being honest with you, like, our division is booty. So I think all three of those teams could handle the Buccaneers if needed to. So give me Chargers, Commanders, Broncos, Texans. I would go Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, Buccaneers. I'll put the Rams above the Cardinals just slightly. Just me personally, I think the Rams could beat the Cardinals in a one-on-one setting, neutral field. That's just how I'm rolling with it. Let me know down below what you guys are doing for the second quadrant.
Yeah, they came up with the big plays, right? Obviously, the 2 pick sixes in the game sort of ceiling interception. Nick Bonito was great. He had a sack, a lot of pressures in one of those pick sixes. But yeah, the coverage. I mean, the secondary busts were at times glaring. I will say that Jameis did make some great throws. This was not one of them. Obviously, he got baited into both interceptions.
Yeah, the only interception with Jameis.
I mean, look, that's something you got to look for. And Jerry Jeudy going into his old house and tearing him up the way he did concern me. But I will say too. I mean, Bo Nix made some poor decisions in this game. I liked when he was playing within the confines of Sean Payton's offense a little bit more, and taking those opportunities when they come, like this pass here. But there was some risk involved too. So Bo Nix got a little greedy at times, I thought, on Monday night.
Yeah. By the way, Jerry Jeudy, who you named, dropped 235 receiving yards, the most ever in a revenge game by a wide receiver. Beat T.O.
How do y'all know that?
The Niners, I think it was 213 receiving yards. Point is, Jeudy put on an absolute show. At 11, it is the Commanders. Get back in the win column here. Mm-hmm. Are they a dangerous team in the NFC?
Yeah, you've been waiting for this.
I would say dangerous as a trap game. Serious contender for a Super Bowl? Maybe not. Winning the first playoff game? Possibly.
An offensive breakout, really, since before the Hail Mary game. But it was great to see their run game start. I mean, Brian Robinson, I think, is such an important part of what they do.
Definitely.
He was streaking into the open several times. That helped out Daniels quite a bit. It helped out Terry McLaurin. I mean, getting the ball to Robinson and Terry McLaurin early in games is never a bad thing, in my opinion. The Commanders finally did that. And look, you can say, okay, it's just the Titans, but Titans have been playing fairly competitive lately, and this is a good defense. Statistically, they still remain in the top 10, even after giving up 200 whatever yards on the ground. So this was a good defense that the Commanders had really a bounce back game against. And that's always good to see, even if the wins haven't been there for Tennessee. So I think they're dangerous. They're back, but they still have some questions to answer. Yeah, I mean, they've obviously been so competitive in a lot of these games. The 2 head-to-head losses against Atlanta really, really sting right now because that momentum would be even stronger. But getting Mike Evans back into the offense was a huge development. Even if Baker wasn't great on Sunday, he had somebody he could rely on. And they may have a breakout star here in Bucky Irving, who took, I want to say, had 13 touches in fourth quarter and overtime. This is a guy who was averaging maybe 13 a game for a big stretch of the season, kind of took over that lead role for Rachaad White. And give Mayfield credit, even on a night when he didn't have his best stuff, he's still making things happen, limping around, scrambling for first downs. Enough plays from the defense, just enough. And then Baker doing his thing along with the run game. It's a close win, but a much needed win for Tampa.
Time for Future Champions. It's presented by FanDuel. Taking a look at the odds in the NFC West. NFC West. This thing, not exactly.
Y'all got y'all money on, man. This is actually a close one. That's why we got all pluses here. This is actually a really close one. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, we're not going to change up on the season. We're just going to rock hard. No, Diddy. With them all the way throughout. Let's go. Give me Seattle, man. Honestly, I thought they've been the most consistent. They slipped out for a little bit, but they've been the most consistent all throughout. Rams are kind of shaky, and the Cardinals are up and down. I think the 49ers are out of it, honestly, if you ask me. It's one of those 3, and I'm going Seattle. Let me know down in the comment section who you guys are rocking with for your NFC West champs.
Let's look at team number 14. It is the Seahawks. What do I make of this team? I week to week here, I'm always a little confused about the squad.
Same.
Yeah, and let's hope they don't have as adventurous a special teams day next week as they did Sunday against the Jets. Against a better team, maybe they can't come back from their self-inflicted mistakes. The fumbles, the muffs, allowing a 99-yard touchdown, having an extra point blocked. Yes, they made a couple field goals too and made life tough for Aaron Rodgers there. Put some pressure on him a little bit, but I do give him credit for crawling back from a deficit like that, but I just don't know, man. There's something about this team that's kind of holding me back just a little bit, even with that golden opportunity in the NFC West.
You know what it is? In first place, but we've seen some losses from them and some inconsistency from Geno Smith and some big turnovers, so it scares you. a little bit. Charbonnet,
you better score that bit
against the Jets. And by the way, even being down against Gangrene early in that game, had a little bit worried about what this team really could be. But if Charbonnet continues to run like this, he's an absolute force.
Got our third quadrant here. We have the Colts jumping up 3 spots to 17. Dolphins, Falcons, and 49ers all dropped 2 spots to respective 18 through 20. Cowboys up 1 with their home win at 21. Bengals swapping with them down to 22. I was about to say switching and swapping at the same time. My fault. And then the Bears and Saints were staying at the same spots. So still put us above the Bears, though. You know what I'm saying? Puts a little bit more respect on our name. Bengals. Yeah, I think we got to kind of stop hyping them. On paper, they should be better than every team on this list, but they're just not getting the dubs. So we'll keep them there for now. Cowboys still under the 49ers, yes. Falcons still over the 49ers, yes. Dolphins still over the Falcons, though, yeah. I think I agree with this one. 8 straight through, good for me. I would switch the Saints to the Bears. Let me know what you guys are doing. So
absolutely. I mean, I will say, did they get a little bit of a bump from the teams ahead of them last week, all losing? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's one way to power up. But when you've seen Anthony Richardson kind of take a step forward and play the way he has, especially late in games, with the game on the line, when he threw that interception with about 5 minutes to go, down a touchdown, I thought, boy, this isn't looking good. They're going to lose at Foxborough. He willed them back. They stopped him on defense a couple times. That was impressive. But really, it was Richardson. His legs were a big part of the story on Sunday. Look, he's flawed. He's still a 50% passer, but this is a tough guy to defend. When he makes the throws, he's a tough guy to tackle, tough guy to bring down in the backfield. And, he can power through some of those attempts too and get off unusual looking passes like that little lob to Taylor for the touchdown and back of the end zone there to Alec Pierce. He's done a lot of interesting things this year, even if the development is still needed. I'm taking my chances on him. I think he's got an opportunity to kind of will the Colts into the back end of the playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk about Michael Pittman. I think you almost
have to at this point. It would have been, crazy.
So the
Obviously,
think come back
to the draft, and we said, what are they doing drafting Penix? He's not going to play this year. Well, hold that thought just a minute. Obviously, we haven't seen a whole lot of Penix. Came in late against Denver, had some throws. We saw a ton of them in the preseason. There's obviously hype about him. His former OC is in the NFL, so you could see how this would translate. He's got the skills, the arm talent, everything there is. And the way Cousins is playing, obviously Sunday wasn't just the first bad game, 4 interceptions, but he hasn't thrown a touchdown in 4 games now. The turnovers are piling up. Some of those passes are looking like frisbees out there, and that's how you give up.
I'm gonna give me one
on Sunday. Essentially, that one right there was the one that kind of caught my eye a little bit too much.
Almost as fast as me, my boy.
Teams are just saying, we're going to jump those routes. I would rather have the chance of getting beat deep because I know I can make a play on those balls. So, yeah, this is really a problem for Atlanta. They were 6-3. They were loaded with this division. They were all set and ready to go, coast down the stretch to a playoff spot. Not like that anymore, man. Tampa is breathing down their necks, and they've got to figure out what to do with the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
Are they out of the postseason in your mind?
Yes, in mine at least. Let me know down below.
In it, right? I think they have something like a 3 to 4% chance. Okay. It would take an inside straight. They're in the one division that's kind of forgiving, if you will. The NFC West is so tight right now. Everybody's kind of logged together, but Purdy's hurt. Obviously, Ayuk's out for the season. Kittle's been playing banged up. You mentioned the running back injuries. It extends throughout the roster. It's feeling more and more in my mind like the 2020 season, which has been the one outlier year under Kyle Shanahan. Normally so good in November and December, able to go in and battle teams like the Bills head to head and even win occasionally. That's not the case for this team. You can see McCaffrey wasn't right. He left the game. He's probably done for the year. And with it go the hopes of the 49ers, who I think will be a title contender next year, depending on what happens with the roster. But this was a missed opportunity, I believe, this season because of all the bad luck that piled up. I think they're done. Joe Burrow, they asked him, he gave kind of a Jim Mora-like playoffs. Are you kidding me? That's the last thing on my mind right now. Burrow's been okay. I would say his play is leveled off, but I feel like he's got this burden on him to play as spectacularly as he possibly can every single week. He even kind of talked about it after the game because of what the defense is allowing. Now, there are issues offensively they have to figure out, but they're far less concerning about what's happened to Lou Anarumo's unit. We saw this trend in the wrong direction last season. It is most certainly there now. They've had a handful of decent performances on defense, but the vast majority have been bad, regrettable, and it questions whether this team can make a Super Bowl in Burrow's time in Cincinnati.
which is just wild to think, because we always talk about needing the quarterback to get it done. They have the quarterback. They got this offensive firepower.
Yeah.
There's got to be such a concerted effort to get better defensively in this year's draft and over the next couple of years, even in free agency, just to try to make this thing competitive. Just a couple of years removed from the Super Bowl. It is just wild to think. Meanwhile, teams 25.
And here we go with the last quadrant, man. We got the Browns staying put at 25, Panthers up 1, Jets swapping out with them, Titans and Patriots staying at 20 and 29, Raiders and Giants swapping spots at 30 and 31, and the Jaguars still the worst team in the league. I agree with the whole thing. When it gets to the bottom 8, it's kind of hard to argue with it. I mean, the worst of the worst is probably pretty easy to tell. And I would go in this exact. You probably actually might even be able to put the Panthers now. They have been playing pretty good. Bryce is balling. You might be able to put but Jameis balling too, really. But they almost beat Kansas City. Swap them. Give me Panthers at 25, Browns at 26. Let me know if y'all agree.
Eric, before we wrap up here, I got to tell you, there's something that's been bothering me for basically the 30 minutes that we've been doing the show. Started off the program talking about perception. I just want to get your take on this. Yeah. I mentioned Minnesota. Sam Darnold. Are we not giving them enough love because of the Sam Darnold factor? People just don't believe it. Doesn't this remind you, though, of a couple of years ago when the Detroit Lions, they had Jared Goff. People were like, oh, can he really get it done? Doesn't it have, we don't question if the Lions can go and win a Super Bowl. Should we be having the same conversation about Minnesota?
No, because in my mind, the show's about to end, so we might cut it here, but Jared Goff was better. I would say better with the Rams than Sam Darnold was with the Jets and Panthers. If you ask me, before they got to their new teams, Goff was better. I would say he was at least a solid above average quarterback. Before he got to the Lions, and the Lions, ultimately, I thought it was a great idea for them to go get him. I thought it gave him a better team than what he had with the Rams to go win something. And, it ended up working out for both teams. The Rams ended up getting their ring, and now they're kind of mid. The Lions worked out for their future needs, and now looks like they're about to go get a ring. So it's going to work out for both sides. But you look at Sam Darnold, he wasn't doing it with the Jets. He wasn't doing it with the Panthers. He barely made it with Minnesota. I mean, he was an injury force start. I'm pretty sure, at least I would think so. I would think J.J. McCarthy was about to run this team had he not got hurt. I don't know if maybe they did confirm Sam Darnold would get the start. Before that, I don't remember it. I'm pretty sure this would have been J.J. McCarthy's team had he not get hurt. Now that he's hurt, don't know when he's going to get the team back. But, we're not comparing Sam Darnold and Jared Goff. That's disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a fair question, right? I think even Brock Purdy faced this at one point. Certainly other guys have. Purdy. But once you kind of graduate to that, most of the times, unless you get to that latter stage of your career like Aaron Rodgers and start failing. But yeah, there is a negative perception against him that I think we have to sort of wean off of. And, it applies to multiple quarterbacks around this league.
Who else to apply to? Who else been booty cheeks all their career and now are okay? I guess the one that comes to mind is Baker. He's just playing average. Jameis, average. Sam Darnold, he's a game manager just like Brock is. You see CMC was out the season and they ain't winning with Brock no more. Y'all gotta stop overhyping these game managers because they're getting dubs. There's team dubs, there's quarterback dubs. I do not think Brock Purdy is getting QB dubs. I do not think Sam Darnold is getting QB dubs. Jared Goff is getting QB dubs. Jared Goff is leading his team to victory, having a great defense in the back end, but is getting shootout dubs. We're not seeing that from either of the other two quarterbacks that were just mentioned. So that's just me personally. Let me know your opinions down below if you guys rock with it. That's just me personally. But I agree with the list for the most part. A couple things that I would change up throughout. Let me know down below if you guys want me to do a full power rankings list or just give my opinions and thoughts on the league in general. And we will definitely get more videos out for you guys about sports content on the channel. But if you guys want more sports content, definitely over to the gaming channel. Smooth Got Game once again to watch that Madden 25 rebuild of the New England Patriots. So catch you guys in the next one. It's me, boy, Shiny Smooth. Get back on Kage, back on Time King Leo. I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. I'm gone for the day. Peace.